I got a flat tire, and I stopped, and somebody stopped to help me. And when I turned my back, they tried to shoot me. Oh, okay. Were you shot? Yes, but I'm okay. You shot where? Where were you shot at? Huh? Did they actually shoot you or they tried to shoot you? They shot me.
That's Alex Muraugh calling 911 on September 4th, 2021, just 3 months after his wife and son were murdered. Muraugh said he was shot in the head. This roadside shooting evidence now allowed in the double murder trial. Today is the first day we heard testimony about it. Our Tara Jabor joins us live now outside the Colleton County Courthouse with more. Tara?
Katie, today is the first day that the jury has heard details about that roadside shooting. Now, they learned a lot of those details today, and it was the first time that we saw video of Alex Muraugh in an ambulance right after the shooting. Now, let's get to that video. As you can see in the video, Alex Muraugh is talking to emergency officials. He tells them about what happened to him on Old Sakahatchee Road. Muraugh says he got a flat tire, pulled over the side of the road, and an unknown person pulled over. And when he turned, that person shot him. Senior Special Agent from SLED, Ryan Kelly, testified this afternoon about the shooting. He went straight to the Savannah Hospital on September 4th, 2021 to talk to Alex Muraugh. A few days later, he went back to the hospital with a sketch artist to talk to Alex about who shot him. Alex Muraugh says the shooter was Curtis Edward Smith, his alleged drug dealer. Alex says he planned to have Curtis shoot him and kill him for insurance money for his son Buster. Let's listen to that confession while Alex was in rehab on September 13th, 2021.
I told him that things were getting ready to get really bad and that I would be better off not here. And I asked him to shoot me.
And you asked him to shoot you?
That's correct.
And what was his response?
I mean, I think at first he was a little surprised, but then he said, okay.
Did you tell him where you wanted him to shoot you?
Yes, sir.
Where did you tell him you wanted him to shoot you?
In the head.
And did you tell him how you were going to arrange that? What was going to be the logistics of that?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
I told him to follow me out and that I would make a flat tire and he would go past me and turn around and come back and do it.
Curtis Edward Smith is currently in jail in Lexington County. We do not know yet if he will testify in this trial. Now, coming up later tonight at 6, our investigative reporter, Ann Emerson, she'll tell us more about that alleged shooter, Curtis Edward Smith. Then later on, former South Carolina Attorney General Charlie Condon, he'll tell us about what does this evidence mean for the murder trial. Working for you live in Walterboro, Tara Jabor, ABC News 4.
All right, thank you, Tara. Now, you might remember the judge initially ruled presenting this botched assisted suicide was a, quote, bridge too far. He said it wouldn't be allowed. But then yesterday, the defense brought it up during cross-examination. So this morning, the judge had this to say.
Then the defense decided to build a road over that bridge, decided to just go right there as if they could dance through fire without getting burned, scarred, or anything. The door was open.
And as we've heard today, wide open and flooded in a wave of Eddie Smith-related evidence. Now, again, we still do not know if he will be called to testify, and we're waiting to see how will this play into the main case at hand. Did Alex Muraugh kill his wife and son? Another more procedural move from the judge today. He appointed one of the jurors as the foreperson of the jury. He said he makes it his practice to appoint this position. Now, we know there's a lot to catch up on from court today, but don't worry, we've got you covered. Former State Attorney General Charlie Condon will help us really dive deep into everything tonight at 6, and of course on tonight's daily podcast update. Just search for Unsolved South Carolina wherever you get your podcast.
I knew I was about to lose everything, and I figured he's better off that way than dealing with me.
Today we found out how Eddie Smith, Alex Murdaugh's alleged longtime drug dealer, first hit SLED's radar. It was as Alex's co-conspirator in his roadside shooting. The state played a telephone interview with the defendant from rehab on September 13th, 2021. The call took place 9 days after he was shot in the head by an unknown assailant. Ann, who first contacted SLED with information about the shooting, joins us now with all the details.
Well, after that roadside shooting, it was Alex's brother Randy who actually contacted SLED to tell them that Alec was making multiple calls to unknown numbers from the hospital. Well, that's when SLED agents went over to Eddie Smith's house, and they found a lot more than just pills.
And was there any sort of notebook with a ledger in it or anything like that recovered?
Yes, there was also a small spiral notebook, a 3.5-inch spiral notebook that had various, it looked like, obviously it wasn't completed by an accountant, but there was numbers and there was pills and descriptions of it looks like some type of sales ledger. Mr. Smith lives in a modest house, has a modest vehicle. When we're seeing several $100,000 of deposits and financial records for Mr. Smith's Enterprise Bank, we obtained a search warrant. Through the execution of that search warrant, the funds were tied back to checks written by Mr. Murdaugh.
Pills, drug ledgers, receipts. That's what SLED agents say they found at Eddie Smith's Walterboro home just 3 days after the roadside shooting. Alec was in rehab, already fired from his law firm for stealing money. And on September 13th, he said he was ready to come clean to SLED agents.
Everything I had done,
Okay, everything you had done concerning finances.
finances, pills, lies.
Okay. Now, were you taking, well, first of all, let me back up for just a second. Have you had a long-standing Oxycontin or opioid addiction issue?
Yes, sir.
How many years?
The best I can remember, around 20 years.
Alec told SLED by phone from rehab he was paying Eddie Smith as a go-between for his drug habit, upwards of $40,000 to $60,000 a week for his Oxycontin addiction. We now know the state says Alec paid Eddie more than $2 million for the past decade.
So the accounts that you were writing the checks to Curtis were Bank of America and Palmetto State Bank.
Yes, sir.
All right, and the funds, where were those funds coming from?
Well, that's maybe an area we don't want to talk about, but just let's say the bulk of them were not legitimately obtained.
Okay, and I'm not trying to be coy. It's just that, Mr. Murdaugh is independently wealthy, so
Not
I think
anymore.
Alex Murdaugh's same accounts tied to 99 alleged financial crimes.
Money that Alec had allegedly paid Eddie Smith, well, Alec told agents that day that he did not pay Eddie Smith to shoot him. Now, we understand that there is a cross-examination of this SLED agent who presented this telephone conversation today to the jury, as well as sources close to the case tell us there still is a very good chance we'll see Eddie Smith on the stand. Reporting live from Walterboro, I'm Ann Emerson, ABC News 4.
All right, thank you, Ann. And Ann will unpack more of this trial alongside former State Attorney General Charlie Condon in just a few minutes. And remember, you can always listen to our podcast, The Murdaughs, Murders, Money, and Mystery, available on Apple and Spotify.